Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Sunday, October 20th, 2019, and today we're going to be looking at the 2019 Virginia elections and discussing what exactly is at stake in this particular state. Now, the reason why I wanted to cover this state is because the state of Virginia was the first state I covered pretty much on this YouTube channel in terms of statewide elections. It was the 2017 governor elections that really sparked my interest into diving deep into the, political area. I was always interested in it, but that was the first election I actually experienced with this political channel besides special elections in House races. And I live streamed that race, and it was, a very impactful moment on my life, even though it wasn't so much in terms of the overall atmosphere leading into 2018 and right now. But I just wanted to cover it for that reason. We also have three other states actually that have governor elections. Virginia actually is not a state with a governor election, but there is something pretty interesting to dive deep into here. But the states of Kentucky, Mississippi, and Louisiana all have pretty interesting governor elections, all three of which are considered either lean or toss up by some. Some actually have some of these states as likely, for example, Mississippi. But Louisiana, Kentucky, and Mississippi have very, contested, very close governor races that are being contested by both sides of the political aisle. I mean, if you think about it, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Louisiana, you wouldn't really think of those states as areas that the Democratic Party would even invest $1 in. These are states that they really do not need in the presidential election whatsoever. These are states that they will probably not win for 10 plus years outside of these governor elections. And there are currently two Republican incumbents in Kentucky and Mississippi, but there's currently a Democrat in the state of Louisiana. I will cover those three states in another video. Today we're going to be talking about Virginia specifically, but that's just pretty much outlining what I'm going to try to cover in the next couple of days. Maybe I'll do it by state, but I'll probably just overview all three at the same time, considering that there isn't too much to talk about there. But Virginia just had sort of a special place on this channel, so I decided to just cover what is going to happen in the 2019 Virginia elections. So essentially, it outlines exactly what is happening here. All 40 seats in the Senate of Virginia and the Virginia House of Delegates, 100 seats there, are up for re-election. The thing about the Virginia House of Delegates, they had an election back in 2017, and actually it went from a Republican supermajority down to a majority of one seat decided by a coin toss, which is also a very interesting debacle there. The Republicans hold the majority in the Virginia House of Delegates, but it was the first showing that a Democratic wave was going to happen, pretty much based off a statewide race. We've seen House elections, House special elections in Kansas 4th, Georgia 6th, elections that had happened leading up into 2018. But this was the first statewide, election ballot that really changed the way that we started looking at 2018. There was also New Jersey. The governor election was on the ballot as well, but that wasn't too impactful considering that they didn't have the entire House of Delegates up, or for them, I guess it would be House representatives within the state. It really just depends on whatever they choose. But Virginia doesn't necessarily have a House of Reps. It's called a House of Delegates, but essentially served the same purpose. But it was just very a huge thing that the 2017 governor race in Virginia went from being a toss-up leading on to Election Day to actually being pretty much a blowout for the Democratic Party, especially in the House of Delegates, where the Democrats picked up over 20 seats there, which was insane, moving it from a supermajority down to a one-seat majority. Definitely not a good look for the GOP back then. But we have some interesting things coming up. So the Senate, actually, let's just go ahead and open it in a new tab. We don't actually need to focus on it too much. But for the races to watch, they don't really have anything there. The Senate isn't too, important. There aren't as many races as well, so the districts are definitely drawn a little bit bigger. But for the House of Delegates races, we could see if the Republican Party is going to push a little bit more back onto the Democrats leading into 2020. 2019 Virginia House of Delegates could be a very interesting showing for what might actually happen in the 2020 Virginia presidential race. This is not a crucial state to the Republican Party whatsoever. They lost it back in 2016. They lost it back in 2012. They lost it in 2008. And it was not pivotal to Donald Trump's victory back in 2016. In fact, Hillary Clinton won here by almost 5% compared to other states that she lost in: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. If you took the George Bush presidencies and you told a Republican back then that a Democrat would lose the Rust Belt but somehow gain Virginia, they would think you're crazy. But now it's sort of the opposite way around. Those 3 states are definitely not out of reach for the Democratic Party, but Virginia is definitely a lot more bluer than it was before, and definitely a lot more blue than those states themselves. The state of Virginia definitely has pushed a lot further to the left in the past literally couple of years. And that's definitely a good sign for Democrats in terms of their growth onto certain states like Virginia, former swing states like Colorado and New Mexico, which were close in 2004, somewhat in 2012, but not so much in 2016, especially not in 2018. We could see a more solidified Democratic base in 2020. And these races, I really just want to see if the Republican Party loses the majority at this point. 2017 was the first stop for Democrats to say, hey, we're pushing out against the Republican Party and sending a message, sort of, to the President of the United States. I really want to see if the Republican Party is going to come out. I also want to see if the Democratic Party will remember to come out in this race. They already won the House in 2018. They lost a couple Senate races, which is pretty interesting. But this Virginia House of Delegates, if the Democratic Party comes out higher than they did back in 2017, the energy is still there. They still have that momentum in the state of Virginia alone, building on to 2020. But these 13 electoral votes, if Donald Trump was to win here, he's definitely winning the overall election nationwide. If he's winning here, he's winning in Michigan. He's winning in Pennsylvania. He's winning in Ohio. He's winning in Iowa. He's winning in all those states, mainly because if this state was to flip, a lot of other Democratic voters would have had to push, or a lot of independent voters, per se, would have had to push to the right in a number of other swing states, because I guarantee it, Donald Trump is not going to win Virginia and lose those 3 Rust Belt states unless something spectacular for his campaign happens. Actually, no, because he would still lose the presidency, but something random would happen in favor of his campaign in the state of Virginia. But looking at these races to watch, there's actually a number of districts that we could pay attention to. A lot of 0.5, 0.4, 0.4 margins for GOP candidates. Any one of these actually flips, it goes into a tie, and I'm pretty sure that would actually end up going into the majority for the Democrats. But we also have a 0.9 district for the Democrats. Some redrawn districts as well, 16% Democrat. That's pretty interesting. But that's, I guess, based off the redrawn district, David Yancey. But we have some, I guess, all of the incumbents are running except for one right here, Gordon Helsel, and then a Republican who lost renomination. I guess the incumbent's running for Senate here. So actually some incumbents aren't running in terms of the Democratic side, but we should see a pretty interesting race in a number of these areas. The rest of the districts are probably gerrymandered by far, or at least very solid in favor of the Democrats or the Republicans, so probably shouldn't see too much contested here. But as you can see, the Democrats are at 49 seats and the Republicans are at 51. So if we go back to 2017, you can actually see the amount of seats. Actually, so I guess the Democrats didn't gain over 20. I guess 15, sorry. But they went from 34 to 49. That is a very huge increase. The Republicans went, again, like I said, pretty much a supermajority at 66% of the voting majority, going down to only 51. That's the equivalent of the United States Senate going from, I guess, again, a supermajority, I guess, minus one behind a supermajority at 66, all the way down to 51. This was a huge number of gains for the Democratic Party. And if you go back to 2015, keep in mind President Barack Obama was still in office. There wasn't this big push for Democrats. The Democrats gained 1 seat going up to 34. But 2017, like I said, was the first time going, I guess, a push against the President of the United States. And the interesting thing is here, there was a very, very close race that actually ended up with a resulting amount of 50 to 49 in favor of the GOP. That final district was to be decided by a coin toss, and it ended up in favor of the GOP. But going ahead to 2019, we could see a number of these races flip in favor of the Democrats or the Republicans, and it definitely could warn us, I guess, about what might happen for 2020. We could see a push in favor of Republicans, in favor of Donald Trump, maybe Trump country, the Ed Gillespie area that never actually came out to vote for him, but might vote for President Trump. It was interesting because 2017, the governor race was more in favor of Ralph Northam, but then Hillary Clinton back in 2016, but that's a whole nother discussion. But 2019, we could see hints at what we might see in 2020. And if the Republican Party somehow is able to gain a number of seats here, I guess 5+, it could also be a warning sign to the Democratic Party that their hold on certain states like Virginia and possibly Colorado and New Mexico those states that used to be swing states that are now moving further to the left based off recent elections may not actually be too solid like people might think. There isn't much to expect in the Virginia Senate election. The last election was back in 2015. Districts 7, 10, 12, and 13 are Republican-held districts carried by Hillary Clinton in 2016. There are 40 seats in total. I guess polling Roanoke College. I don't think this is actually too impactful. But pretty much looking at the House of Delegates, that is probably where we're going to be looking the most in terms of energy on either political side. We could see pickups for the GOP. We could see pickups for the Democrats. But if we do see pretty much 5 or more pickups for either side, it's definitely going to show a lot more momentum in favor of either political party, but it should be pretty interesting. Municipal elections, we don't have much to cover here. Town council, city school boards, county school board, not much to focus on there, considering a lot of those actually have to be independent offices as well, so there's no real purpose of a party composition. But yeah, so I may end up live streaming the 2019 elections. I probably will, considering that there's going to be Louisiana, Mississippi, and Kentucky as well, and those governor elections are definitely going to be interesting. But I'll probably see. It's definitely a far way away. So actually not too far, about 3 weeks. So I'll probably live stream these November 5th, 2019. So yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.